I'm Mary Blair, the Computer Training Coordinator here at the People's Resource Center, and today we're going to be talking about mail merge for letters, labels, or emails. What is mail merge? Mail merge is a feature in Microsoft Word that combines contact information, names or addresses or other information that could be in a database, could be in an Excel file, and puts it into a Word document, either a letter or a label, so that you can personalize the letter or label. Why do mail merge? Well, if you want to, for letters, you can create mass mailings that are personalized, that include the person's name. You can also do a contact list and labels, where you get the information from a database and it creates the labels for you. And you can also personalize email, sending mass mailings via email that you can also personalize if you use mail merge. Where do you keep your contacts? Well, because mail merge is part of Microsoft Word, it works very well with other packages of Microsoft Office. Your contacts could be in an Access database, your names and addresses. It could also be from an Excel workbook, in Outlook contacts, a table in Word. It could get from a table in Word, and you could create your contacts as you go in mail merge. So there's 5 different ways that you can get your contact information. So making labels in Word. The first you need to do is prepare your data. Make sure your data, wherever it is, looks the way that mail merge wants it to look. You set up your document in Word, either your email or your letter or label. You connect that document to your data. You will insert placeholders in Word that will include the names and addresses or other fields that you want to put in the letter or label, and then you just preview and print. So step 1, to prepare your data. If you're using Excel, what mail merge does is it takes the column headers in the Excel document and uses those in mail merge. So if you're using Excel, you need to have column headers. Like in this example, it will have name, last name, street address. And what it does, mail merge does, is it pulls that information into the document where you have the placeholders. And you also have to make sure the right data is in the correct column. So if you're going to call this column first name, then you have to make sure that the first names are in that column. Okay? So if your Excel spreadsheet has more columns than you're going to use in mail merge, that's okay. You just have to make sure you have the columns that you need. One way to do mail merge is to use the mail merge wizard, and that's on the Mailings tab. So the first way we're going to show mail merge is through the wizard. When we do the wizard, which we get from the Mailings tab, what comes up is a task pane to lead us step by step through the mail merge. So the first step would be to select what type of document you're creating. Are you creating a letter, an email, or labels? Okay? And then you pay attention to down below, it brings you to the next step. Okay? So we're going to actually do that. Okay, so I'm showing you one Excel file that we're going to use for a mail merge. This has names and addresses. If you notice, they each have column head. All the columns have headers: first name, last name, address 1, city, state, zip code, and it also has a product in the spreadsheet. So we're going to use this in our mail merge, this file. But we first have to close out of it, and I'm going to go into Word. So we're going to use the wizard. So to start mail merge, we need to select the mailings tab. And on the ribbon where it says start mail merge, I'm going to click that, and all the way down at the bottom is step-by-step mail merge wizard. And here's the task pane that comes up. Okay? It says what type of document are you working on. For this first one, we're going to do labels. So I'm going to make sure labels is selected. Okay? And it tells us here, print the address labels for a group mailing. Click next to continue. So I'm going to go down to the bottom and click next. And now I'm at step 2. Select the document that I'm going to start with, which is going to be this document right here. I could also use an existing document if I wanted to. And now I have to select my label options, the type of label I'm going to be using. Okay, so you get the screen label options. To decide what to put in this box, you take your box of labels that you get from the store. This one is an Avery, and the type code is 5160. So on the screen, I will, under the label vendor, select Avery, US letter, and then for the product number, I'm going to find 5160. And it says it's easy peel mailing labels, and that's exactly what this is. Okay. Okay. Normally you will see grid lines that will show exactly what the label page will look like. This label page has 3 labels across and 10 labels down. But if you don't see the grid lines, you go to, up at the top, has Table Tools. You click on the Layout tab, and over to the left, you can select View Table Grid Lines, and then you'll see the grid lines, and you can verify that that page looks exactly like your label page. Okay. Okay, so I do have to go back to my Mailings tab, and now I go to my next step. So I'll click Next Step, Select Recipients. Okay, and it says, am I going to use an existing list, a list from Outlook, contacts, or type a new list? So what I'm going to do is an existing list. I'm going to use that customer list that I showed you before we went into Word. So I'm going to click Browse to actually find that list. And I'm going to find that Excel file. Customer list. And then I click Open. Okay, so what it shows me, if my Excel spreadsheet had multiple sheets, it would show multiple sheets here, but I only had one sheet, and I am going to use that sheet. Also, there's a checkbox here for first row contains column headers, and I showed you that it did, so we'll leave that checked. And I'll click OK. And here's our data. It will show you everything that's on that spreadsheet, the name, the address, the city, the zip code, and product. So it's connected to that file. These checkboxes mean that each name will be included in our mail merge. If we wanted to exclude some people, we could uncheck that, and it would exclude those people. Okay? Then I click OK. Okay. So if you notice over here, it says that it's now connected to customer list. And then I click next, the step 3, next, arrange your labels. Okay. So now it's telling us, now we need to put information in our labels. What do we want to put on our labels? Probably name and address. And that's what address block does. Address block puts the first and last name, and then the street name, city, state, and zip code. So I'm just going to click address block. And what it tells us is I get to pick what type of name. If I had different forms of the name, like a nickname or the middle initial on my file, I could select which name I wanted. But I really just have one name, first name, last name. And so whatever it's selected here is fine. And this is my actual data, Joe Smith. And it has his address and it looks fine. If I wanted to preview another one, I could just click these buttons and I could see the second one. And if they look fine, so far it looks fine, I can just click OK. And it puts the address block placeholder in the first label. Okay? But with labels, what we have to do is we also have to click this Update All Labels on the task pane so that it puts address block on every single label. So I'll click that Update All Labels. And address block is now on every label. And I'll do my next step, preview your labels. Okay, and here's a preview of my labels. Okay, it's not the actual labels, but it's a preview, and it looks pretty good. I have all my names and addresses. Okay, so if I'm fine with that, I can click the next step, which is complete the merge. Okay, I have two choices to complete the merge. I can print, and it will just print what is on the screen right now, or I could edit individual labels. I'm going to click that. If I do that, I can also change individual labels to be a little bit different than the other ones. Okay? So if I click edit individual labels, it asks me, what do I want to merge? Do I want to merge all my records or just some of the records? I'll say all and click OK. Okay, and what happens then is you'll notice at the top I have another document that got formed. It's called Labels 1. If I move my mouse back down here, I was working in Document 1. That's where I put all my placeholders. But once I said merge to create an individual document, it created one called Labels 1. And so now I could print this and still save the document 1 if I wanted to go back and do the mail merge again. So it creates another document that I can print. So that's doing labels with mail merge and StepbyStep Wizard. Next we're going to do the mail merge without the StepbyStep Wizard. When you do that, you have everything you need on the ribbon, on the mailings ribbon tab. You would basically start step 1 to do start mail merge. Step 2, you select the recipients. Step 3, you can edit the list if you want of recipients. Step 4 is where you insert any of the mail merge placeholders, the address block, greeting line, or any other fields. And then step 5 is the finish and merge. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to do letters, and we're going to use a file called donor list. If you see, it's a Word document. If I open it up, it's actually a table in Word with the same information we used before, names and addresses. This is just to show you that you can also use the data for mail merge just from a Word table. Okay, so this has person's title, first name, last name, their company, address, city, state, and zip code. So that's our file that we're going to connect to our Word document. So I'm going to go into Word. And I have to go to Mailings tab. I start mail merge, and I'm going to select letters this time, not StepbyStep Wizard. Go right to letters. Next step is to go to select recipients, and we're going to use an existing list. The one I just showed you, that's a table in Word. Okay, and then I have to go find it. Donor list, and I open it up. Okay. Okay, so once I selected the donor list, notice everything started to highlight because now I can actually put placeholders in my document. I can edit the list. If I click that, notice this is the same screen that came up. I have all my data here, and I have the check boxes if I want to exclude anyone, but right now I'm going to include everyone. Okay, and I'll click OK. So I'm going to write a letter now. So usually a letter would start out with date. I'm going to put in a date, the current date. And after a few lines, that's where I want to put in an address block. So I have to go back to mailings and insert an address block by just clicking address block. Again, I get this page where I can actually select the form of name. I just had first name, last name, no middle initial, and here's what it's going to look like. Okay, I have my first one. It has the name, the company name, the street, city, and zip. But what is missing in this one is the state. It didn't pick up the state that I had on in my table. So if something doesn't come up or match, you can select this match fields. If I click match fields, you'll see on the left, this is what Microsoft Word Mail Merge is looking for. They're looking for these names in your column headings. And if it matches, great. If it's close, it kind of understands that and matches. Sometimes it doesn't. So we did not match our state. So I will look over here. It's looking for a word state in my file. It couldn't find it. It was not matched. So I'm going to bring down this arrow. I called it ST. This is my file, what my column headings are, and it was called ST, but my mail merge did not match that. But I'm going to match it by just selecting it. Okay, and then clicking OK. And once I matched it, there's the Illinois that shows up. Okay? So match fields, it's good. They give you a preview of what it's going to look like so that you can check to make sure you have all the fields you want. And then I'm going to click OK. So there's my address block. Then I'm going to put in a greeting line, dear so-and-so. So instead of typing dear, I can, at the top, insert a greeting line. I'm going to click that, and I can change the format of what I want in my greeting line. I can say dear or to. I can give the last name or the first name. I can also have a comma or a colon. Okay? And again, it's showing down here my information. So if I like it, I can keep it. I can scroll through and look at all my information to make sure it looks okay. So this looks okay. I'll leave it the way it is, and I don't need to match fields because I have my last name. That's all I want to put in for dear, and I'll click OK. So there's my greeting line. Okay. So I'm going to type in something. Thank you, comma. I'm going to put in their first name because that's more personal. This is going to be a letter to thank these people for a donation. So I'll say thank you, and I'm going to put in their first name. If I want to insert something that is not available in the address block or greeting line, I can click this, Insert Merge Field, and select the field that I want to merge separately. So I want to put in their first name right where my cursor is. So I'll select first name. Okay, thank you first name for your donation. Okay? Okay, so we have the placeholders we want, address block, greeting line, and the first name in our letter. Usually you would put more in the letter, but for now we're just going to put first name to personalize it. Okay? Then we can do preview results. If I click preview results here, I get to see a sample of one of my records and how it will look on my letter. Okay? Dear Grant Bell, here's his address and his company. Dear Mr. Bell, thank you, Grant, for your donation. That's the first name that got plugged in. And I can scroll up here and find another record just to view it. Here's somebody else, Mr. Phil Fournier. Dear Mr. Fournier, thank you, Phil, for your donation. Okay? But this is just a preview. So what's next is just finish and merge. So I'll click finish and merge. Again, I can print the documents the way it is now. It will print a page for each record that I have in my table. But I'm going to click edit individual documents because I may want to add something special to someone who made a larger donation probably. So again, I get to choose, am I going to merge all the records or just some? I'll keep it at all and click OK. Okay, and if you notice, it creates another document called Letters 1. Okay, if I go back to my taskbar, I still have my document 1 that has the placeholders in, but once I create the merge or finish the merge, it creates another document, and that document is the number of pages of the records you have. So I have 4 pages. So if I scroll down, I have a page per person. Okay? And now before I print, I could add information or something special to somebody's letter, okay, before I print. Okay? So that's letters, mail merge with letters. Our last thing I'm going to show you is doing mail merge with email. Okay. So if we want to do an email message using mail merge, we would go to Start Mail Merge on the Mailings tab, and this time go to Email Messages. Then for Select Recipients, this time I'm going to type a new list. I could use an existing list, but I'm going to type a new list. Another way to get data into your mail merge, I'm going to put in a name, first name, and company name. Since this is just going to be an email, I'm only going to put in the name and the email address. And then I'll put in another. And an email address. Okay, so when I have all my email addresses in, I'll click OK. It wants me to save it. And I'm going to edit my recipient list just to make sure that I have everything correct. I'm going to look it over, and I have it correct. Then I'll click OK. And I'll just start typing my email. So I'll say hi. I'll insert the first name. I'll make a placeholder for the first name. So I'll go click on Insert Merged Field and select first name. And then I'll type my email. Thank you for attending Tech Talks. a mail merge today. Okay, that's all I want to do. And so I can preview the results. So my first one is to Mary, and I was going to also insert the email address. So I will say I sent this email to, and right here I can say insert merge field and put in the email address. So when I preview the results, this is what the email is going to show. If I like that, I will finish and merge. And instead of edit individual documents or print documents, I'm going to go down to send email messages. And it gives me the opportunity to put in a subject line. So I will put in Tech Talks, mail merge. And again, I can select all the records or only some of the records. I'm going to keep all of them, and I'm going to click OK. And in the background, it leaves me in Word, but it's actually sending out my email through Outlook to the recipients when I send the email messages. Okay? So to show you, I'm going to go to my Outlook. And here's my email that went to me, and it says, "Hi Mary, thank you for attending Mail Merge today," and I put my email address. So everyone will get an email, and it will be personalized. It will not show who else got the message. It will just show that it was sent to you. So it's very personalized. Also, I'll show you, since I sent it, it will be in my sent folder. So if I go to my sent folder, here are the two emails that I sent. So it's like you were in Outlook when you sent it. So if you're sending email, you need to use Outlook for mail merge, but the recipients don't need to have Outlook. They can have any other email provider. So that's it for Tech Talks and Mail Merge. Thank you.